Jennifer. I just wanted to add on to your analysis of the question, what does the garter symbolize and the breaking of it? So you explained that when her garter broke, it shattered her world and it symbolized life and turmoil and relationships. And she even compared it to a Wall Street man. That's just another thing you shouldn't trust. So you went on to explain too that this might symbolize, difficulties in a relationship. And I did some extra research just because I didn't understand. I wasn't necessarily getting like a Sylvia Plath vibe to this lady, but you could tell that she was struggling. So when I learned a little bit more about her background, it was easy for me to identify where these emotions were coming from. So she did remarry, or she did get married, but her first husband passed away from drug overdose, and she got married again, but they got divorced, and they actually got back together before her husband again died of overdose, and so she, was plagued by, death of her loved one, and obviously faced attachment issues, and Dorothy actively was trying to have a child, and was faced with multiple miscarriages, even into her late 40s. So she had a lot of, you know, um, doubts about people and the permanence of things, and she obviously wasn't very interested in the permanence of her own life. So I do think that it symbolizes so much more, flakiness in life. And then you mentioned trauma and that how she referred to herself as something that people would hang hats on. I feel like the way in which her depression was exploited, maybe in her own poetry by herself, or how people questioned her own professional life, that these weren't her actual poems. Like, she didn't feel these things and have the right to write about them. Um, I don't think anyone rightfully acknowledged it. So, just as she felt like that was neglected, her with this broken garter would be neglected, and she'd become a hanger for hats and coats, and she would be sold with the property as soon as these people passed away, and she would just be an accessory that came with it. She felt that no one would really ask if she needed help or why she was hanging out there. She made it seem so much more serious and all that more dramatic. So um, once her garter broke, she begins to ruminate over her personal life and her professional life and explain that it's all um, essentially over, just being over the hills dramatic. And you can tell by the tone and the content of the poem that we're no longer just referencing a garter that snapped, because obviously, huge inconvenience, kind of embarrassing. What do I do now? But you don't. She got into a deeper discussion, and I think that when it happened, it kind of resonated with her with other experiences, and maybe the way and the insignificance of this thing, she was able to exploit it and make it seem bigger, rather than facing what she is actually feeling. So I just wanted to build on that a little.